Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. So thank you everyone for joining us for our second podcast.
Yeah.
Our first one's also available if you want to go back and watch that. But for anyone who hasn't met us before, my name's Carrie and I'm the team manager for Fostering Southwest.
Yep, and I'm Ian, assistant team manager and communications lead. So in this episode of the podcast, as today is Monday 12th of May, we are celebrating the start of Foster Care Fortnight, led by the Fostering Network. And this year the theme is the power of relationships. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at it more than just the relationships with other people, but actually what that means, your relationship with your local community, your surroundings, etc. And really bringing awareness to the fact that because of a lack of local council foster carers, 1 in 5 children and young people are placed more than 20 miles away from home. And that's something that we're going to be doing a lot this week. So make sure to keep an eye on our social medias and we'll follow up with that here. And then Carrie, we're going to introduce our amazing guest, Pete.
Absolutely. Keeping with the theme of relationships, we are going to meet Pete, a foster carer from Devon, who, along with his wife Lynn, is also the Mockingbird hub home carer. So we're going to spend some time talking about Mockingbird and how it beautifully supports the children and the foster carers of what they call the constellation. And we're going to learn all the amazing things that they do, all the celebrations that they have had. And we're also going to get introduced to the stick insect, to the meerkat, and also to Henry the puppy. So I'm very much kind of looking forward to that. We're going to have kind of a great conversation. So yeah, anyone thinking about wanting to learn about Mockingbird, come along.
My name's Pete Ashman, and I'm the hub home carer for the Mockingbird project, and I'm based in North Devon.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today.
That's all right.
We are really excited to be able to talk to you about fostering and about Mockingbird. And it might come across, but Mockingbird is a real passion of mine.
I'm going to be quiet this episode, aren't I? It's going to be all you guys.
It's going to be me.
Absolutely.
But it's a real passion of mine. And I think it is something that's really fantastic for children and for foster carers. We'll learn more about that as we go through the podcast. But I'm jumping way ahead.
Yeah,
can't
absolutely.
wait.
Now, Pete, you're a seasoned pro. We've known each other quite a while, actually, doing these things, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we first met on the set of one of the TV ads for Foster in Devon and Devon County Council, where I think it was you and your wife were starring in an apprentice-themed TV commercial.
Yeah, it's going back a few years, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good, yeah.
It was nice to catch up.
So you guys already kind of know each other.
Yep.
We've worked together a couple of times on foster care information sessions. So, Pete, what brought you into fostering?
Well, I guess ours is quite an unusual way of getting into fostering in the extent that about 10 years ago, we were very friendly with the local family, and we were approached by the grandparents as if we would to see if we would privately foster one of the children. She was a one of 7, and the family was really struggling. And we talked it through as a family, and we decided that was something we wanted to do. And so we approached the local authority, and so we ended up going to panel, and Julie, that young lady, came to stay with us and jumped forward nearly 6 years, nearly 7 years. She did really well with our support, and she went off to university in Bristol, and that left us with a bit of a void. And we'd enjoyed the experience so much that the family said, why don't we do it again? But this time we thought we'd have children in Devon. So we made that call that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
And although we'd been to panel, we had to go back to panel again because we were qualifying through Devon County Council, and that's what we duly did. And that was about, 7-8 months. So it's quite diligent, quite intense, but quite an enjoyable experience, really, nothing to be worried about. Panel day came.
Yeah.
And we still have several of our own children living at home, but at the time we had 3 of our sons living at home. And I remember saying, lads, don't worry, it takes months to get a child. It will, so nothing will change. Went off to panel with Lynn, driving back 10 minutes after being approved, phone rings. My social worker said, we've got the perfect match for you. Would you be interested? And, of course, we said, yes, of course, let's talk. And 6.5 years later, the same lady she's a young woman now, is still with us. And so we've been now fostering for about 10 years with Devon County Council.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
amazing.
what a journey.
It's been an experience, that I can only recommend. And as I said, we enjoyed the private fostering so much, and Devon County Council, it just bolted onto that because of the training, the support, and so the whole experience has been fantastic.
Oh, I love it. And you talk about sort of your sons at home as well. How do they find the whole process sort of alongside you guys?
Yeah, I mean that's a really important part, I think, of fostering. Making the call is the biggest and the first one, but having your whole family on board, because their lives will change a little. You're going to have a new person living in your home, and they won't be there for an hour or 2 hours. They'll be there 24 hours a day. But the boys were really understanding. They knew that it's something that Lynn and I wanted to do, and 2 of the boys still live at home, and it's worked really well. But I think that openness and that discussion before you make that call, if you've got all of your children on board, can make it so much easier.
You foster together.
Yeah.
You're a family. Yeah. It's something that everybody is involved in, and it becomes part of the family together, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the child that comes to live with you just becomes a member of the family.
Yeah.
And so from somebody outward looking in, you wouldn't know that child wasn't part of your family, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so nice. It builds wider relationships, doesn't it? For sort of everyone gets to learn a little bit from each other. And I think we talked about with Joe in the last podcast, the things everyone in the family learns by having someone new in it. I think that's really important to recognise and remember.
But it's certainly nothing to be frightened of, and it should be something that really, now I think my sons have really benefited from the experience of meeting lots of professionals coming into the home, and things like that, and being aware of them exploring different people, that they meet up with as well. And then obviously that led, after, I think it's about 6 years now that Em's been with us, and then she became 18. Well, when you become 18 in fostering, you generally, you can stay with the same family under a scheme called Staying Put.
Cool.
Which is what we wanted to do. We wanted Em to stay longer with us. And in fact, Em will stay with us forever, as long as she wants to. And so, again, we came to that crossroads. We then decided that we were going to foster again, because we enjoyed the process.
Yeah.
So we were sort of bolting on our experiences, and we were getting excited about recruiting, excited about having another person come to stay. And then I got a call to say, there's this new project coming to Devon. It's called Mockingbird. Yeah. Would you like to know a bit more about it? And of course, being interested in supporting children in Devon, of course we did. And we found that not only would it be that we'd be supporting one child in the fostering, we'd get 15 instead.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And we went for the interview, Lynn and I. It was a tough interview. I thought it was really, I wasn't quite expecting it to be quite as intense, but it was. And Lynn and I were really excited. There were other candidates, and we were sat in a garden centre having a coffee together. And the phone rang, and it was Kathy Dixon, the manager of Mockingbird, and to say that we'd got the job.
Amazing.
And Lynn was crying, I was crying. We were really excited, and although we didn't really know what to expect, we just knew that that's something that we wanted to do. The boys were on board, and we were ready to go.
Brilliant.
And that's our journey into Mockingbird, really.
And it has been a journey. I think we've talked lots about this. I know, Carrie, you are the Mockingbird biggest cheerleader in the region, I'd suggest. So, I mean, it's fantastic. And so, I mean, to someone who, for me, being slightly new to fostering than you guys, and recognising that actually some people here maybe don't know what Mockingbird is, I'm going to hand the floor to you to sort of tell everyone about it.
Oh, Mockingbird, what can we say about it? It is just something that is so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. It's a model of caring that originally kind of came from America. And it was brought over to the UK by Fostering Network, so the charity kind of leading in supporting children looked after with foster carers. And it was brought over, I think, around maybe 2015, 2016. Okay. And it brings the concept of it takes a village to raise a child to children who are looked after. And I guess one of the things that can happen sometimes for foster carers and for children who are looked after, there can be a level of isolation. And Mockingbird creates a community around the child, around the foster carer. It's just absolutely beautiful. So it's something that all of our local authorities in the Southwest now have. They've all implemented this, and they all have at least one constellation, and we'll explain more about what a constellation is. But and it is kind of growing. So there's more than 220 constellations now across. I know definitely kind of England. I think it might be in
Scotland and Wales.
Scotland and Wales as well. But yeah, 220 constellations like Pete and Lynn's. Yeah. But that's just it in a real nutshell. But you live it and you breathe it, and you talk about Mockingbird so beautifully. So as a hub home carer for a Mockingbird constellation, how would you describe it?
Well, that's brilliant how you've described it. For me, as a hub carer, it feels it's a family-based model to start with. And I think Lynn and I see ourselves as sort of grandparents. Lynn says really young auntie and uncle.
Yeah, I use the term auntie and uncle.
The fun auntie and uncle.
I've used that sort of line every time I've spoken about Mockingbird. But basically, it's like a grandparent. So, and that's how our home is called a hub inside of the Mockingbird world. But basically, it's a safe place for a number of children and a number of families to use. Currently, at the moment, we're lucky to have 7 families, soon to be 8, and currently we have 15 children. And so we open our door and we offer a range of support to the families. So we have coffee mornings for just the carers, and then every month we have at least one big get together with us all together, and that can be as diverse as doing a beach clean, or going for breakfast, or going to the park, or going to the zoo. Something that involves everybody, and where they can all get together. But they will also, the children can come to the home or to the hub to support them. And we've got to the stage now, and I know we've talked about it before, but when my grandchildren come to my home, they just let themselves in, and that's what our own Mockingbird children do as well, because they literally just come in to see an extended member of the family, and so they all run in and they run upstairs and they know where everything is, and it's the same with the carers. So we can support the carers if they want to have a chat, if they want to come over. Carers will ring and say, "Have you got 10 minutes for a chat?" And it could be just to offload, or it could be to talk about something where they want some extra support, and I can use my experience, or I can at least find the answers to the problem that they're facing. The children can come for short breaks, which can be during the day, and it's really to support the carer. So I'll give you an example. If the carer was, say, has more than one child, and they were going to the dentist, say, which can be really tricky for any child, but really tricky for our children who might not be used to going to the dentist as much. And so the carer would take one of the children, and then we would have the other, and to support them during the day. So it's just taking the edge off that challenge to make it just that easier to manage.
You create that extended family like that for the children, for the foster carer, and I think so that when those emergencies then do happen, we all have emergencies in life. That actually the children feel that they know where they're going, They feel supported, they know the environment, they know you, they've got existing relationships. So when there is an emergency, there's at the least level of change or trauma for them while situations are being managed. And it means then that potentially they're able to stay with their foster carer for longer, when these things do happen.
Absolutely. And what we're seeing now, because we've been together as a group for about 18 months now, so we were the first hub to launch after the pilot, which was fantastic. What we're seeing now, which is for me, when I stand back and watch, is children who normally in fostering might have 2 or 3 safe people in their lives. What our children have are 7 families worth of safe people. And what they're able to do when we're out together all as a big group, they would fluidly move between each different carer. And so if you took an example, we all went to the zoo recently, and some wanted to see the gorillas and some wanted to see the meerkats, just normal family life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're a normal carer and you've got more than one child, that's a lot of
Where do I
negotiating.
go?
That's
You're juggling it, aren't you?
Yeah, so ice creams are involved in terms of negotiating or whatever. But what we're able to do, one of the carers would take whoever wanted to see the gorillas and off to the meerkats, and then meet back up. And our children do that effortlessly now. And so if you imagine it from their point of views, where they've things have changed dramatically in their lives, things will never quite be the same, but they now see the world through Mockingbird in a much safer and bigger place than perhaps they would do normally. And for me, that's a really, really important part of what we do. It's not just the responding to emergencies and supporting and advising and helping. It's seeing the children's who are in care having an experience that they deserve, and that's really powerful for me. And Mockingbird does it effortlessly. It's a really powerful thing.
I think those trusted relationships, like you said, it's not just them with their foster carer and with the hub home carer. No. All those trusted relationships with other children, with other foster carers within your constellation, within your hub, really helps them to experience the world and experience different things, different relationships.
I think as well the team around them is very constant as well. So certainly in Devon, we have liaison workers or social workers, and they are the same social worker for all of the children and the families. We've got an amazing social worker, Harriet Hobbs is fantastic, but she supports all of the families together. So that helps with continuity.
Yeah.
So when Harriet and I meet and we talk, we know all the families, which means that we can be we can sort of head any problems off at the pass.
Yeah.
And that helps as well. The stability team that we work with, Craig, he's been a constant through the whole process as well. And so I think that's really encouraging and supportive for the carers. They're used to the same faces, and so we are really a big family. Not just the children and the carers, but the professional support team around them. We've been very lucky to have everybody, the same that's remained through the last 18 months.
Yeah, we talked in our first podcast, didn't we,
absolutely.
about the professionals and the support from supervising social workers, the children's social workers. And again, with the constellation, you have that professional support as well for yourselves, for the children. And it is, furthermore, it's those extended relationships again,
it's
isn't
building
it?
those wider relationships with people from sort of all backgrounds, all sort of skill sets and ideologies and things like that, which actually really help expose sort of the children, young people to sort of different views, different thoughts, and actually it brings that support. And we talk about the power of relations and relationships. Actually, this is in fostering probably one of the prime examples where that gets brought to the fore, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right, actually. The power of the relationship within Mockingbird is in multiple ways. It's children to children, it's children to foster carers, it's with the hub home carers, it's with the professionals. And all together that provides, you mentioned earlier, continuity, consistency for the children. That all together, and this, I guess, is what the main purpose of Mockingbird is about helping children to be able to stay with their foster carers for as long as possible, or as long as they need, remain local, and to not have those kind of multiple changes, and to support foster carers. Yeah, so kind of foster carers feel supported and they're able to foster for longer.
Yeah.
And I think all together we've seen such beautiful stories of Mockingbird. I mean, you were telling me the story the other day about the stick insects.
Recently, as our get-together, Exmoor Zoo, which is just up the road from us, we have a really good working relationship with them, and they decided to take the big step to bring the zoo to the hub.
Oh, wow.
Which is quite exciting.
I'm only jealous.
Yeah.
So Portia, the zoo handler, Julie came with lots of covered boxes, and we had all our children and some of the carers in our conservatory, and we had our small zoo together. And there were some more there were more celebrities than others in terms of the animals. So I think his name, I'm trying to think his name, there was a large snail who was a bit drippy.
Oh,
so
nice.
He probably wasn't quite so popular, but he went round. The star, then we had the slightly nervous for me and for Harriet was Twiggy.
Twiggy, the stick
insect. And Portia obviously made a good call in that she allowed all the children to handle. So Sticky did his little, or her little walk across everybody's hands, which was slightly nervous for everybody. Yeah. And then the star of the show was the meerkat, who came out, and it was fantastic. And we had children who were really concentrating, really enjoying the moment, having a laugh. And it's those moments when you sit back from a hub carer's point of view, and you can see all your work that you've put in. It's paying off, and that everybody was comfortable, and we had a great day.
What a beautiful opportunity,
so
though.
nice. Yeah.
I literally just have this image of this little meerkat running around everybody.
Around your conservatory,
Rascal the
conservatory still in one piece?
Yeah,
okay?
No, absolutely. Yeah, it was a good call. And we've since been back to the zoo, and we've bumped into Rascal back in his own home.
Oh, he's a little celebrity amongst the constellation now.
I mean, we've got some. I asked some of the children to do some pictures of what does Mockingbird mean to them.
Yeah.
So I'll show you some of them. But Mockingbird means friends to me. Swimming, baking, going to trips to the beach. We love Mockingbird. The spider at Exmoor.
The big shop.
Big
sheep.
Big sheep.
Yeah. That's a big player. We couple of weekends ago, weekend before last, we had the indoor play area to ourselves, so all of the children could come and relax and be themselves. And of course, our new puppy Henry features quite highly, which is quite
Henry's
nice.
got an appearance.
Henry's got an appearance. Mockingbird, we love Mockingbird. We love Butlins. As I said, we've been running now for 18 months. To celebrate our first year, we all went to Butlins for somewhere. It was a fantastic weekend, really, really exciting. And it shows you how far we've come, as a group of people. So we've got the art project. I love Lynn and Pete. Em and Jen.
Did you write that one?
And we love Henry.
Henry's there.
Yeah, Henry's. And
we love beach walks.
Some beautiful artwork.
It's really,
there.
I know. The relationship with like Henry and everything, that's super important as well, because it's often the first exposure sort of some people might have had to pets and animals, and it's that sort of safe, welcoming environment and introducing that, isn't it?
Yeah, and the meerkat makes an appearance. So Exmoor Zoo visits, Butlins again, the big sheep walks, and the consistent from the children. We love Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And I've saved this one. Oh, this is the same. So this is one of the children's hands, and it was different information. So I'm going to see the carer. It's okay to feel like this. So it's an emotional hand.
Yeah.
And so what we get the children to do is to draw around their hands often when they come back from school, and then we'll have 4 positive things that they've done at school.
Oh, nice.
And maybe one thing that they've had a challenge.
Yeah.
And if you do that every day, then you can build up quite quickly a picture of how your child's feeling.
Yeah.
We do that. And this one, this is a young man who's in the one of the constellations. These are his own hands, and he coloured them in for me. And then he touched my heart by writing something very relevant at the top for me. And he wrote "safe," and that's how Mockingbird makes him feel. And that's such an important part of how Lynn and I want the children to feel about being in care and about being in my home and about being with my family. I definitely want them to feel safe. So, that's a really big part of what we do.
And that was something really quite significant for this young person as well, being able to write that.
Absolutely.
And it meant quite a lot to you hearing that from them, didn't it?
It's another golden nugget.
Yeah.
And there are so many, and every child brings them to the hub. And so, it's but that particular picture will stay with us forever, I assure you.
Yeah. No, it's so lovely. And I think actually if we want anything for any child or young person, regardless of their situation, it is that feeling of safety. And
Absolutely. I think safety is kind of one of the core things, particularly for children that are looked after, that, because of some of their earlier experiences, it is really key. And the fact that, something like a constellation, a hub like this, is able to add multiple points of safety with, safe relationships, friendships, and just that whole environment. So we're drawing to kind of a bit towards the end of our podcast for this one, sadly, 'cause really enjoyed kind of talking about it and kind of learning more about your hub and your constellation. It's beautiful. What are some of the activities that you guys have got planned for your next kind of meet up? What does it look like?
We try and vary them, and we do some that the carers will contribute to take part in, and we do others that. So as we go into the better months, and we live right near the sea, we will tend to have a beach day. We do a lot of. We have a good connection with Surfers Against Sewage.
Nice.
And they provide all the bags, and the local wardens give us the grippers. So we've been for a breakfast in a local restaurant, and then we go onto the beach to do our beach clean. We've been to the lifeboat station, and the lifeboat guys gave an amazing talk, and the children could dress up as lifeboatmen, and they got to sit on a lifeboat, which was really exciting. As I said before, we've been to the zoo. Every year we go to the pantomime, a local pantomime.
Love a panto.
You love it,
And then we normally have a party, a Christmas party back at the hub, and the big man himself appears as if by magic.
Amazing.
And so and we have a buffet, and we have party games, and we have lots of fun. And then this year we've got to the wake park, which is a water-based bouncy castle on water. I think it's probably the best way to do.
So much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's a brilliant afternoon. We've been to the Big Sheep. We had an inflatable in the local leisure centre. So the children could have fun on that, and then or just swim as well. We've got a big bouncy castle, but a giant one. I mean, really big one. That's more like an obstacle course. So we've got that planned as well. So lots of, and then mixed in with that, we'll have gets-togethers in the park, gets-togethers on the beach, bit of rock pooling, that sort of stuff. So a whole range of interesting things that the children can do. Looking forward to it.
Lots of fun days out.
Lots of fun days out. So if you had to give like a piece of advice, not the big piece of advice, but as someone who's a current foster carer or maybe thinking of getting into fostering, that why Mockingbird? Why should they get involved with Mockingbird?
I think it's the support that I think if you talk to carers that are not in Mockingbird, one of the things, as you alluded to earlier, is that at times the feeling of isolation. And that doesn't mean that the carer's not doing a fantastic job. It just means that sometimes that network isn't there. It's not easy to see. What we have is a continuity of support, so not just from me and from Lynn and the boys and Am, but from the other carers. So when we have our coffee mornings, you're always meeting up with the same people.
Yeah.
And over time, that allows you to relax, to be yourself, to talk about things that you want to in an open, non-judgmental way. With people who have lived the experience. Both Lynn and I, as you know, are now are experienced carers of 10 years.
Yeah.
And so, but we're still learning. We learn every day. It's that sort of job. But we can at least support new carers. And this week when we meet, I said earlier that we have a young 4-year-old that's moved from one hub to the other. The carers are actually brand new carers.
Oh,
They've just passed panel, and so I'm so excited to bring them into our group, and straight away they get that wraparound support, and we've already been talking between each other before we meet up, and so the carers have rung and asked a couple of things where they've been worried, and I've been able to put their minds at rest straight away, and that's what we do, and so. That's what I would, from a Mockingbird point of view.
No, that's amazing. And the way you talk about, actually, that's really true. It's something we've heard. So sometimes it might be a bit scary to maybe go to a social worker to ask them a question. Coming to sort of someone like yourself or another foster carer part of the hub, it seems a bit less formal and a bit more daunting, maybe with like a small question, so you don't feel like you're being maybe judged in the same way. Actually, these are lived experiences you've often have had, and you've sort of kind of been there, bought the T-shirt, and it can put their mind at rest a little bit.
Absolutely. You've got that peer support, not just from the hub home, but all the other foster carers, but for at times when you're not too sure where to go, you need a bit of advice. Yeah.
And sometimes you might just want a coffee and to unload, and often I will sit with somebody and I might say, yes, no, oh, and then, the carer will go, I feel better now. I can go back and do that. I can, and that's part of what we do as well. And that's a really important part. Okay. And, carers will come in for a coffee and a cake and sit in the garden and literally just take a breath before they go back and, to get back into their role again.
So you've got a bit of advice there for kind of people thinking about kind of Mockingbird. What would be a piece of advice for you that you would kind of give to people that are thinking about becoming foster carers?
I've thought about this because I knew you were going to ask me that question. And mine's really simple. Please just make the call. Pick up the phone. Make that initial call. Speak to one of the team. And, when we were first looking to foster, we had children living at home. We rented. We lived on a farm. We had ponds. We had a whole range of things that I thought might be something that would stop us from fostering. It turned out that I was completely wrong.
All the myths.
All those myths. And so just pick up the phone. If you think you can make a difference, you cannot imagine the how much support and help that you can give to a child in need in Devon. And when you see those golden nuggets, and I've talked about those a lot this morning, but when you see those golden nuggets, you will realise why it was a good idea to pick up the phone and just make that call. Yeah, absolutely. And there is that support there for anybody thinking about fostering, across the whole of the Southwest. We've got our team, we've got our recruitment officers. They're amazing, absolutely awesome. What they don't know about fostering, if there is something, they will go and find it for you. But the support that is then available right through people's journeys. And it's the kind of the nurture and the support that people can give a child, but it's also the support and the nurture that's available for you as a foster carer from the moment that you start thinking about that journey right the way through until, something like Mockingbird. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Brilliant.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Pete, honestly.
No, it has.
Love talking about Mockingbird, and your pictures, the pictures from the children are just so beautiful. So I just want to say a massive thank you to the children for kind of doing those and kind of allowing them to be shared with us today. because I think they're really beautiful and they just capture
Yeah, absolutely.
Mockingbird in a nutshell. So it's really beautiful. So thank you to them all.
Thank you very much. No, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, brilliant. Well, yeah,
Brilliant.
so this has been our Foster Care Fortnight episode.
Yes.
So thank you to everyone who's tuned in.
Yeah.
Next one, 2 weeks' time again.
2 weeks' time again. Yep.
We're going to keep you on tenterhooks, not
Yeah, we're not
confirming
revealing yet.
No, to the big reveal. So, yeah. Well, brilliant. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank
Thanks
you.
very
Pete.
much. No, it's been a pleasure.
That was amazing. Hearing from Pete and learning all about Mockingbird and how they support all of the children, all of the foster carers within their constellation, in their hub home, was really kind of beautiful. And knowing that Mockingbird is something that is across the whole of the Southwest is something kind of really special to the region, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And like Pete said, if you are interested and want to learn a little bit more, or you are ready to take that first step, then get in touch with us. So you can get in touch with members of our team via our website, our social medias, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. And yeah, just have a no obligation chat. So it's just a real friendly, understand a bit more about fostering, see where you are, and yeah, take it from there. But yeah, thank you ever so much for tuning in.
Yeah. And if we don't see you before, we'll see you on the next podcast.
See you in a fortnight.